The question is, are we getting a new map or a change to Thea Sky Ruins as we know it? And honestly, I don't know. I didn't think so, and then I saw this footage. This was first brought to my attention by El Chico Evie when he posted about it on Twitter, and since then I've been asked about this over and over and over again. The map looks to be changed in a very recent video posted on the official Unite account. As we can see here, this is the promo for the new Charizard Hollowware that is coming inside of one of those treasure chest things. Charizard, he's punching Buzzwole and they're looking at each other. Oh, what a good punch. And they're flying back and forth. They're really putting some effort into this. I have to assume this is the same images that you're getting out of the China version, which I can talk more about in a moment. Pretty cool intro as it's fighting with Buzz. And then we see it brought onto the map here in Thea Sky Ruins. It flies around a little bit, it's moving up through the path, we can see its trail animation, and stop! I want to stop right here. At about 30 seconds into the video, we can see that Charizard is fighting its opponents in the top path. We see the move animations and things like that with the Hollowware, and we can see in the top path, let's let the video keep going, they are fighting around Registeel. Takes him up into the air, slams him down. Registeel obviously is not in the top path. That is not where this Pokemon goes. You all know this. Well, some of you may, solo queue allies maybe don't. Registeel, Regice, and Regirock in the bottom path. We have Regieleki in the top path. This is confusing, and I think there are a few explanations for this. Before we go further in the video, let's just talk really quickly about the possibility of a new map. I would say, given that we have not seen the new map launch fully in China, and we haven't seen exactly what that looks like, we also don't have the World Championships finished yet. I think it's unlikely that the map is changing right away. However, it doesn't mean that we are maybe moving towards a newer change after the World Championships, and this is something that could be announced at Worlds. For Anniversary, I think that's really, really fast. However, it is shown in this video. In fact, it's shown multiple times. Let's look at a later moment in this same vid. We see Charizard scoring right here, Charizard using its return animation to head back to base. And then finally, oh, just slamming Cramorant into the ground. They hate Cramorant. And now finally here at about a minute, about 50 seconds in the video, in the top path, we have Regirock. So once again, we are showing a Reggie that spawns in the bottom path, in the top path. I think the explanations for this are, this is a dev build, and they're using it to show off things in there. This is a dev build possibly from China, although it doesn't fully look like it, right? So this is a dev build maybe that the Chinese devs are using to show up this Hollowware in the exact same way. Also possible, but still not exactly how their map works either, so that's very confusing. I think maybe they're showing it because, and honestly, this is like one of my only theories as to why they are showing this and not changing the map, is this is a dev build that they're using to show off Hollowware, where they can spawn things that they want so it looks like a battle is going on. Also, it's kind of cool seeing Charizard grab someone, fly them up into the air, and slam them right down into the damage that Regirock is doing. Like, that is objectively quite cool. So maybe that's why they're showing it, but I understand why people are so confused when they see this footage, because you didn't have to do this. And because they didn't have to do this, I think that is the greatest case you could possibly make that something could be changing with the map. Now, let me temper your expectations a bit, because my job here as a content creator is nothing if not tempering expectations. I'm like a blacksmith the way I temper these expectations. So look, I don't think there is any way we see a map change before the World Championships. I have had people message me, and I've said the same thing to them, and they say, yeah, it's a month, it's enough time. I think it was Paladin, shout out to Paladin, who messaged me, and I said, I don't think there's any way they change it that close to Worlds. The biggest issue being, you've had an entire season where people have been playing with a certain meta, and then you change it right at the end, and it's not the most monumental change ever. Like, let's say the bottom Reggies go top and the top Reggies go bottom. There are some map differences between the top and bottom path, right? The length of the length of the length. Boy, I didn't get through that well. The length of the length between the coal zones is different. Holy. So that length is different between the top and bottom path. However, if you were having Regieleki walk bottom and you were having the top Regis, you know, swap for the bottom Regis, you would have a similar meta, right? You might even flip-flop roles, so the Pokemon who was naturally the top path might go bottom, bottom path go top. However, given the space between the goals, that's what I was looking for. Given the space between the goal zones, I do think you might even see the lanes stay the way they are, just with different rotation priorities. All that being said, I don't think there's a way they are going to change that meta right next to Worlds. You know, in fact, we have a specific item, the Amulet Coin, that I think highlights this really well. The Amulet Coin was released. It completely changed the meta of the game mid-season, fully changing the game from what we had known to a score comp, and that item was nerfed almost immediately because it completely changed the dynamic of the game. This wouldn't be as drastic as the previous Amulet Coin, which fully did turn the game right back into a scoring composition setup, or at least giving you the, you know, the very appetizing possibility of that happening. And I do think changing the meta in such a way right before Worlds without a single official tournament where teams could practice it would be pretty wild, and especially given how buggy some of Unite's patches and changes happen to be. Them changing this map right now would be fully absurd, and I think there is almost a 0% possibility this happens. I do, however, agree with people who are looking at this video and say, why would they show it like this? Why would they show it like this multiple times? Is it possible that moving from the World Championships, the announcement that we're getting is maybe more of the combining of the global and China versions? Are we getting some map updates? Are they saying like, hey, Thea Sky Ruins with a fresh new look? Are we getting to the point where the Regis and Regieleki aren't guaranteed anywhere, right? Like, do we have a point where the top Regi and bottom Regi is all fully RNG, where it's 1 out of 4? So you hit Registeel top, you might hit Regirock bottom, you might get Regieleki bottom and Regice top. Like, could we be moving into reality like that? I think all of that is a possibility. I think it would be really good for the game for them to start experimenting with different ways to have the map feel more dynamic, even if they don't have the exact development budget to completely redo the map. But I really don't think that we would see any of these changes at Anniversary. If we did, this would be a pretty crazy change with a small amount of time for teams to react, pivot, and get ready for the World Championships. Now, there's no question that this would be exciting. It would be cool to see how it would work. But again, given Unite's track record with implementing new things that could be fully messed up, I don't think we're going to see this change. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Do you think we're flip-flopping the Regis? Why do you think it is shown in this promo video? And not only shown once, but shown multiple times. It feels like a very deliberate choice to show it multiple times. I have to assume it's just because they wanted to show something cool, but you could have shown a Rayquaza fight. You could have done so many different things. I wonder why it was this, and I have to be honest, I don't know exactly why. I don't think the map is getting changed. I'm tempering out here, but let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love you. I'll see you all next time. We did it.